Okay, so a request here. I'm driving the Mazda MX5 Trophy at Northampton Grand Prix, and I'm trying to get down to the 224 range. Reason being is that the career bots qualifying times are 224, and I'm on average of 226. I am 2 seconds behind last place. So I'm just asking if anyone willing can watch this and give me some tips. I'll show you my setup and I'll try from there. All right, thank you. Okay, so I try to enter the track initially behind another car, and I will stay close to this car as much as possible or get close to it because they tend to drive their driving line the same, whether qualifying or full bore. And they will drive slow the first 2 laps to mimic the warming up of their tires. So they're relatively easy to stay up with and catch. And so that's what I do here. Just trying to stay on it. I do have the driving line showing, but that's only just for reference. I don't use the driving line all the time. Maybe I should. Please comment below. I'll probably be saying that a lot. And I'm just going to speed this up until everything gets warmed up. But at this point, I am very much able to keep up with these cars on the first 2 laps, even to the point where I can just be right on their bumper. And no need to watch that. So let's transition over. All right, so I'm ending lap 6, going into lap 7. You can see, or saw on the HUD there, bot car getting close to me, and you'll see it very often. Just get very close to me. It's taking these corners way faster than I am. I have tried to stay as close to them as possible on other laps, and they just pull away from me. And so I find it interesting watching them come down on me. I'm definitely doing something wrong. So watch this lap. Feel free to comment on where I started and now, and please give me some tips and pointers. Coming up on this turn, I do realize that I overshot this. Went in way too fast. So, my mistake. You can see the bot coming in on me. But this one just amazes me how, when they're in front of me, they'll pull away from me right there. Driving line or not. And I have yet to figure out how to stay with it. And another one will be this turn coming up. I turn in, and then I feel like I've turned in too much. I have to relax, and I have to compensate with the wheel right there. And maybe that's okay. But again, they pull away from me. I don't see his icon on my rear. So watch him come up. And I'm slowing him up. And these guys are running 224s. I am 226.1 to 226.5 on these. And I just don't know what to do. See how much I've had to turn? I tried braking more, and it just slows me down, which is why I have the front end so much lower than the rear, trying to keep that front end down through these turns. And I'll show you my setup here in a moment. All right, so this is going to be 226.5. My best on this was a 226.1, and my best total I think was like a 225.9 with this setup. I'll show you the setup here. All right, so my front's could probably more like 22.1, 22.2, just because of the tire wear. But my here, slow bump and slow rebound, I've had them as high as 11 each, front and rear, down to low like maybe 8.6 in the front and 8.5 in the rear, and it's just not working that well for me at the moment. The bump stop spring rate I've had at its lowest setting also, just to try to get a little more dive in. I've had the rear anti-roll bar up to 571, and everywhere in between it just seems to want to slide out on me. So 0 for me has been working the best on keeping rear end grip, with the rear end being so high. And again, 4.9 in the front, 5.5 in the rear. I know it's got a good rake to it, but it seems to be the only way to keep the front end down when I'm trying to accelerate through turns. Again, could be my driving. I've tried lowering the rear and making it a little more even, but like I said, I'm not doing well coming out of turns with that. So anyway, you can see my whole setup here, flipping through. Feel free to make any comments below, and I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, thank you.